Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dana. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, this channel is about lots of things, but really it's about intentional consumerism and sunscreen and some skincare as well. So this is one of the first videos that I'm filming after I did kind of my big announcement. It wasn't that big of an announcement, but kind of telling you, the people that watch, that I am changing the direction just a little bit of the channel. And I really thought that the intentional consumerism was a really good kind of way to phrase it, and I think I'm going to stick with that. So kind of what that means is I definitely want people still watching my videos, otherwise I would not be making them. But I want you to remember that just because I'm telling you about a product, and even if I'm raving about it, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and spend and buy it immediately and it's gonna change your life. It's not about that. Right now in the world, we are bombarded with buy this, buy that, you need this, it's gonna change your life. And while I think some products are really great, especially the sunscreens that I review, because they do bring a lot of value to your life, I don't think you need everything, and I don't think I need everything. So I try to give you the facts, give you the information, show you what it looks like, all that kind of stuff, so you can make up your mind. But just keep in mind, and I will continue to remind people when they're watching, even if I'm telling you this is my favorite, it doesn't mean that you need it. If you already have a product that works really well for you and you love, just put a pause on it. Put it on a list, keep it on your phone for when you run out of that product and then you buy something else. I really don't want to be part of the problem. I want to help solve it. So I think with this intentional consumerism, hopefully it makes things a little easier. So that's my little spiel. I'll probably say that for a while until most people have heard it and kind of we know what we're doing here. Okay, so this is an interesting product that I'm reviewing today because the marketing on it is very, I find it a bit problematic. So this is the Tula Radiant Skin Brightening Serum Skin Tint Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 30. The way that they market this is as a sunscreen kind of, whereas really it should be in the skin tint category, which works out for me because I love both skin tints and sunscreens. But I really think that this is a useful review because if you're buying it or you're thinking about buying it as a sunscreen, just stop right there and don't. This is a skin tint with an added bonus of SPF 30. This is not a sunscreen, and I'm going to show you why. But I just wanted to preface it by saying that I will continue to review some skin tints because I do just love them, but it's going to kind of take a back seat. Anytime it does have an SPF in it, it makes it a little bit more relevant for my channel. But that doesn't mean that I won't be reviewing stuff like this beautiful Chanel. Well, is this beautiful? But you know what I mean. I do it for fun, and I'm going to make it really clear that you don't need to buy it. But I don't know, now I'm rambling. So let's get into the review. Okay, I always have to put my hair up because I don't know how people can do their makeup with their hair down. So we'll do that. These clips are so good. They really hold your hair. Although sometimes I get a little bit a headache if I wear them too long. Okay, let's get into the specs of this. So this is what I said. I'm not going to say the whole name again. It retails for $40 and you get 1 fluid ounce, which is the dead giveaway, especially to me, that it is really more like a makeup than a sunscreen. Typically foundations and skin tints come in 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters, whereas sunscreens typically, if they're in that variety or that size range, they're going to be 1.7 fluid ounces or 50 milliliters. But there are more things that give it away too. It does have 30 shades, and I like this shade range. It goes from pretty light, although I'm wondering how light that light actually is, to fairly dark. So I think they do a pretty good job of that. But it does have a little bit more coverage than you would maybe suspect. So you do need to get a little closer to your actual skin tone to make it work. Let's see, I have the shade 11. This is called Light Medium Neutral. That is questionable. I would say it's more like a medium. I think it's neutral. I think the undertone works, but it's definitely quite dark for being a light medium. And it says, I'm going to read this off of their website. It says, breathable serum skin tint with buildable light medium coverage. They did say light medium, which is a small distinction, but sometimes when they say light to medium, I find that actually means it is light coverage, but you can build it to medium. But when they say light dash medium, that's really closer to the medium coverage kind of range. So I don't know if you guys think that, but I feel like that small little caveat is actually important. What else? Brightens skin And I said, question mark, maybe, because of the SPF. And then, of course, Tula, well, not of course, but Tula, kind of one of their claims is they have pre and probiotics, but they don't have any live cultures in their products. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. It's not like you're putting like a real probiotic on your face. And then they also say that it has 12-hour long wear, which is like kind of insane to me. Like, whoever comes up with these, like, who wants to wear it? Well, I guess 12-hour is actually more realistic, but when it's like 24-hour, I'm like, why? Why do I want to wear sunscreen or anything on my face for 24 hours? So that's about it. Let's zoom in, put it on my face. I'm going to apply it in a variety of ways, and I'm going to kind of talk through the finish, how I feel about it, how heavy it feels, all those things. Okay, we're nice and zoomed in. So I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon, because if they're trying to say that it's a sunscreen, this is how much you need. But I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, I'm not going to be using all of that because it's too much. But let's go ahead and apply. I don't have anything on my face. When it's a sunscreen review, I don't want to put any products on. If it's more like a skin tint, which I think it is, you can go ahead, do your moisturizer, do all your things, your sunscreen. But I just want to kind of show you on bare skin. So kind of depending on how you use it, just do whatever you would normally do first. So this is the shade. You can tell that my face it's lighter than the rest of my body in the summertime, but you can see that this shade is quite a bit darker than what my face is right now. Why am I just applying more and more? This is a wet sponge, and this is actually the way that I prefer it the most. My only issue is I always forget to dampen my sponge. So. And I put a little on my hand, and I'm kind of just going off of my hand. Okay, and now I'm going to just use my hands on this side. Okay, so that's two sides. What I would typically do, even when I use my hands, I would just kind of use the beauty sponge to soak up any excess product and make sure that it's all blended in. So I'm going to do that. I have no idea where my camera cut out, so I hope that it caught everything. But I used my hands on this side, and then I went over with the sponge just to make sure everything is blended out. And I would always just do that anyway. And then on the forehead, I put some dots on, and I'm going to use the Real Techniques 405 brush. This is great for any cream products, blush, foundation, tinted moisturizer, whatever. But I did want to mention, before my camera cut out, that you can see like just the difference. Like my skin tone is quite a bit lighter. The shade is quite a bit darker, and that's okay. Like I do like to have some skin tints or whatever that kind of have a darker shade so that they match my body. But when I'm using something that does have a darker shade, I probably don't need bronzer at all. So, and you can see just how easy it is, especially this brush is just amazing. I don't know why I hold it like this. Am I ridiculous? Yes. But this brush makes it so quick and easy. I love this brush. And I'm just gonna go over my eyes as well. There we go. Okay. Let's let it sit for 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll talk through the rest of it. All right, we're back. So this shade is quite dark. You can see the difference. Like my body, it matches my body, but I think I would really need to carry it down my neck, which is just, it never gets any sun there. But it does kind of match, but you can see like this is, I'm pretty dark. So 11 is a pretty dark shade, if that helps you at all. Just consider it. I think they're gonna run maybe a little deep. So I'm worried about those very light shades if they're gonna still be too deep, but I can't speak on that 100%. So I did wanna show you guys, I have probably more than half left, and there's no way I could put more of this on. This is, to me, like pretty medium coverage. It blocks out everything. It's not full coverage. You can still see like a little bit underneath, but for me, this is as much coverage as I would ever want to wear. So with that said, this is 100% a skin tint for me, not a sunscreen. I would need to apply a full layer of sunscreen on underneath, and then this would just be my makeup. I just can't put all this on my face And I'm not going to apply it as like I would do for a sunscreen video. And if you're wondering why, it's because I really don't want to encourage people to use this as a sunscreen. I think this is like an added layer that you should like feel great. You're applying a makeup with sunscreen, but don't use it as your only sunscreen. Unless you really want like full coverage. But I'm not gonna put this on my face. So what do I think about the skin tint? We're not talking about it as a sunscreen anymore, right? I think it's really easy to blend out. I think it gives you a really nice, like, I would call it medium coverage, but you know, if you think like if you wear more full coverage, this might be more like light medium to you, but it blends out absolutely stunningly with both a sponge, with my hands, and with a brush. I prefer applying it with a brush, just if you don't want to get your hands as dirty, and then kind of using the sponge to make sure it's all blended out. I actually found that when I used my hands, I got like a lot more coverage than I was intending, and the sponge didn't soak up as much as I thought. So you're really just kind of getting coverage regardless of what method you use, so keep that in mind. I have not applied anything else to my face. There's a nice little glow, but it's not, I wouldn't consider this like a glowy skin tint. There are some that I have that would be much more glowy. You would typically probably want to powder a little bit unless you're super dry, and then it might sink in. But for me, I would probably just powder a little on my T-zone. I've applied makeup on top of this before. It blends seamlessly. It's really just a makeup, so it should apply or it should work with other makeup items. I find that actually it does have a pretty good like wear time. I can't tell you that it has 12-hour wear because I don't wear makeup that long, but you know, it does last better than some of my other like more medium coverage ones. Around my mouth, I'll have it breaking up a little. It's kind of to be expected if you're eating or drinking or whatever. And then sometimes I do get little smile lines right there because it is when I wear like a more medium or fuller coverage makeup, I do tend to see the lines show a bit more. But overall, I am just pretty pleased with it. Now, would I say that it's transfer resistant? Not really. Like if you do powder, it will become a little bit more transfer resistant, but it's more in the like vein of a skin tint where it's gonna move, it's gonna blend. That's why we love skin tints. So if you're looking for something that's transfer resistant, this is not the one. I always tell people MAC Face and Body, that's probably one of the best skin tints that's more transfer resistant, but this one is not. I have sometimes seen like a little bit of like cakiness if I wear too much, especially right here in my forehead gets kind of cakey. So I would definitely recommend just kind of like go a little bit lighter. And then if you need to, build up with concealer, because I think this stuff, it just, for me, it doesn't sit well when I put too much of it on. Now, I thought what would be interesting would be to kind of compare it to some of my other skin tints that are pretty comparable. And the one that I found to be the most comparable is the Tower 28 Sunny Days. This one, when I first tried it, and I will link that video here, I was just like, wow, this is a skin tint and it has so much coverage. I love it now when I realize like I don't need a lot. Just a few dabs of either of these and then a sponge to blend it out works the best for me. But these two are so similar. So if you already have this, you absolutely do not need this. These are both SPF 30. So really you could just have one. You don't need both. And then some of the others that I have, the Slip Tint by Say, this is SPF 35. So it's a little bit more SPF, but it's also a little bit more glowy, a little bit dewier for drier skin people. And it doesn't have quite as much coverage, but you can definitely build it up, especially with concealer. So I'm thinking like this is more like normal to like combo skin. And then the Say, I feel like Say just makes things for very dry skin people. So I would still recommend this if you have dry skin over the Tula. Two kind of other interesting products that they're not quite the same. These are the Waso by Shiseido Shiku Lime. I have not reviewed this yet. I've been just testing it out. And then this is the Origins Ginseng. I used to use this like exclusively back in the day. These are both color correcting, or not color correcting, color adjusting, I guess. So they kind of go on a white color, and then as you blend it out, it kind of is supposed to go and blend to your skin tone. I'm not sure if that actually works. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. And they both kind of tend to be a little tanner than I prefer. Sometimes I don't want my face to be that tan. So they are quite interesting products in general. And this one is SPF 30 and this one is SPF 40. So this is the highest one. But they also have quite a bit of coverage, I would say. So that's why I'm comparing them to the Tula one. But there we go. And then of course, just any skin tint that you have. I would say if you have a skin tint that you love, there's no need to buy this. Like, this does not rock my world in some kind of way that I'm like, oh, I've never seen anything like it. It really, really reminds me of the Tower 28. So I think you could, you know, make do with what you have. This comes back to our intentional consumerism. If you have a skin tint that you love, put this aside. Be like, I know, now I know. Dana told me all about it and I don't need it. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you save $40. I don't think it's a bad product at all. I just think it's unnecessary for most of us watching this video. Now, if you're watching this video and you have never owned a skin tint in your life, and these sound like the things that you want, then go ahead and buy it. But I don't think it's like this revolutionary thing. So again, I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed my video. Oh, I'm getting hot in here. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.